Dowell Loggains in, head coach at Appalachian State, and kind enough to make time for us. And what I don't know, he didn't tell me. Is it vacation time for you? I mean, you get a very short window of time off, and it's usually around this time in college football. Are you joining us on vacation?
Well, there is no vacation time in college football anymore, but I'm actually at FCA camp in North Carolina right now, FCA Coaches Family Camp. So
is that right?
Flash vacation, yes.
How about
yes,
that?
Sir.
The whole family?
The whole family, all 6 of us.
Wow.
Piled up in dorm rooms. I mean, just, yeah.
What are you doing? You're a head football coach in college football. You've hit it, and you're in a dorm with your family. This is so Dowell Loggains. Tell me about the camp.
Well, first of all, I know I made it when I got to be on this show with you two.
That goes without saying, but thank you.
Yeah. Shortly after Pat McAfee. Yeah, right after the Pat McAfee show. Exactly.
No, it's this is our 9th year here.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an unbelievable place and a lot of great coaches that love the Lord and are about the right stuff. And it's a really good time right after June when you're ready to pull your hair out to kind of reset in college football and get to enjoy about 2 or 3 weeks of vacation before the thing really starts up.
Do you guys have like competitions? Are you playing games? You doing any of that stuff?
Oh, all right. So look, I was really hoping you guys were trying to schedule this interview for about 11 because after the chapel service in about 30 minutes, we go play softball and volleyball, and there's always a pulled hamstring, a torn Achilles. It's always something. I'm like, man, year 9, I'm 43. Like, I'm creeping up on this.
Yeah.
Like when you start getting
stretch.
Hurt. Like when you used to play. Yeah. It's like when you used to play pickup basketball, H-nut in his
That's right. I was just thinking about that. When he had football camps and we would play those pickup games at midnight at Bud Walton, and somebody would always get hurt. And I was young enough to hang around and not get hurt, but since I've retired, like you get.
I think, Rob Taylor had an Achilles in one of those games, I think.
You're exactly right. Oh man, I haven't seen Rob in a minute. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh gosh. So you're at App State, head coach. What's the first few months been like? I know you've been in football your whole life, and you've been around some great head coaches, and like. You this is not new, but you're in the seat. What's changed? Like what give us the last few months of what life looks like in that chair.
Well, and you guys both can appreciate this. It really comes down to people, and it comes down to you got to make a bunch of decisions on things that you really don't think they're that important, and you're just like, well, let someone else answer, how we're cooking the eggs. We scramble them, are they over easy? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm worried about other things, trying to win football games, to put together a staff. But it's been an awesome experience. Not easy, really time-consuming. But the amount of decisions you have to make daily. And then what you really don't understand when you're an assistant coach is how much falls on the head coach's desk and that you don't even know about most of the time. But when a person, a player, student-athlete, or assistant coach walks into your office, it might not be the most important thing in your day, but it is to them. So whatever they're bringing to you at that moment is the most important thing in their life, and it's and you got to learn to stop doing what you're doing and listen and think about others, and then you look up and it's 4 p.m. and your list of 15 things to do, you've got about 2 of them checked off.
Yeah.
Hey, Dow, you're as Arkansas as it gets to a lot of us, but you've made a home over there in the Carolinas now, and I just wonder, in the position that you're in right now at that school, what's your background in Arkansas? App State's not the biggest school in the world. What's your background? How that helps you now? Let's just put it that way.
Well, this place is very similar to Arkansas in a lot of ways. Like, we're not the biggest school in the world, but we beat the biggest schools in the world. And so when you look at it, you're talking about, from Charlotte to Boone is about an hour drive, a little longer sometimes than not. It's very similar to landing at our airport in Fayetteville and driving that 45 minutes there. And it's a harder place to get people to come visit. And So there's a lot of similarities that way. It's a place that's won a lot of games, just like Arkansas has through the years. So there's a lot of similarities in the place, great people, and unbelievable people, unbelievable fan base, passion. Expectations are very, very high. The coach before me was 40-24. So that tells you about expectations. And so we're excited to be here. It was an easy transition from South Carolina because it's a 3-hour drive. So the family was able to get here quickly, and it's an area we've got to recruit the last 2 years. So it's awesome, unbelievable place.
How has NIL and rev share and all this impacted you, App State, your just kind of your world? Give us that perspective. I mean, is it the same or different than, a Power 5 SEC school, for example?
Well, last year at this time I was coaching Lenore Sellers, who made double what I made, about $2.3 million.
Just like a pro coach.
Right there.
Offensive coordinator, South Carolina.
Yeah. I feel like I'm back coaching Jay Cutler, who's making $20 million. And Lenore Sellers' whole thing is about my budget in NIL for 85 scholarship athletes. But, no, it's really cool that these guys get to experience this. We got to be really, really careful. You got to be the people want to compare themselves, and they find their value in NIL numbers. It's really hard to build a team this day and age. Not impossible, but challenging. So we believe in just being transparent. Like, you got to assume whenever you give someone a contract and when you do someone's deal that the locker room's going to know in about 5 minutes. So building the right type people, bringing in the right type people is probably more important than it's ever been. Bo, can you imagine what our guy Matt Jones would have made in the NIL world?
Oh, so many guys, right? But yeah.
I told D-Mac yesterday, I said, you played at the wrong time, brother. I knew
that's the truth, man.
The draft, but you played at the wrong time. And he just laughs. It's like Darren McFadden in the NIL world would have been unbelievable. But it's impacting everyone the same. It's awesome for the guys. You just want to make sure that you do things the right way, that there's no such thing as fair anymore. There's not. Like, you want more money, you got to balls. We lost 2 players, a player to Oklahoma State and a player to West Virginia after spring ball. So you deal with those things, but everyone in the country deals with it.
Mm-hmm. Dowell Loggains with us, former Razorback, head coach at App State now.
When you've got a recruit in and money's going to come up at some point, what are the other things you look for as a coach? You talked about bringing in the right people, the right kind of players. What's the right people? How do you balance all that now?
Doug, that's the question. And you want to find people that come from winning programs. You want to find people that have overcome something really hard in their life. Like, one of the first questions I'm going to ask these guys when they're sitting in my office, tell me a time in your life when you've overcome something really hard. And I've spent 17 years in the NFL, so I treat all these things like combine interviews. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not rubbing your shoulders and telling you how good you are and all that. Like, I want to get to who you are. And in that first 5-10 minutes, when money comes up, then you're in trouble. And you got to really pay attention then. Is this guy trying to get the most money he can get? In their words, are they trying to get life-changing money? Or are they looking for life-changing experience?
Yeah.
And you need about 85% of them that are looking for life-changing experience, life-changing, long-lasting relationships. Because, look, you're not going to get away from the money. You can't be naive about it. Like, hey, there's going to be people that you're competing against, and we beat a couple P4 schools on guys, and we have NIL, and we're competitive that way. We're lucky we have the rev share that we do, and it does allow us to compete in recruiting, but you got to make sure that you ask the right questions. It's not, hey, how were the cookies? How was dinner last night? You got to ask the real questions, and you got to find out about the person. You got to get through all the fluff of recruiting and really find out who they are at their core.
Dow, Chuck and I were talking before we brought you on about Chuck said, your story is incredible. Like, your journey of being my size and playing at Arkansas and being a holder, and then the career. How many years were you in the NFL as an assistant?
17.
17 years in the NFL as an assistant. Last year, we'll skip over some of it. Last year, he's the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. He was the tight ends coach here at Arkansas, which is like a dream come true that you were coaching here. Now you're head coach at App State. I mean, when you think about all this, like, can you believe your story?
No. I've lived there's still a line from Coach Broyles. I've lived a very charmed life, but it goes back to the people. It goes back to Coach Nutt, Dean Weber, my mom and dad, the people that just let me chase a dream, believed in me. It's humbling, so humbling. But it goes back to Camilla when we were next door neighbors, Bo. But just had a vision for what I wanted to do and found a way to get it done. But had so many people along the way that just gave me a chance. And I look back at myself. I'm like, man, I think back to Lewis Campbell and Houston Nutt and Dean Weber. I don't think I'd give Dowell Loggains a chance. Like, that's a roster spot. You only get 70 of them. They ended up putting me on scholarship, which I still don't know why. I don't know. I do the same thing for myself. So it just is incredibly humbling that you had people in the past and on the journey that believed in you.
Not to get you too emotional, but Chuck also mentioned this, just the relationship you had with the late Dean Weber. And I guess my question is, how did Dean, and you're similar, like, I don't know anybody that knows you that doesn't consider you like a really good friend. Like, if you know Dowell, you're a really good friend and you feel that way and you have this just, ability to connect people and relate to people. And that was a lot like Dean. I mean, if you came back and you ever played here, I mean, Dean was the connection, right? But what was it about that relationship where guys like you would like make time, even if you're busy, you wanted to go spend time with him?
Yeah. Well, for the 2 years I was in South Carolina while we still had Dean, it was every Wednesday in season when I got to be the tight end coach of Arkansas, we're at Herman's. And there's, whether it be Lindsey, whether it be other people, Matt Jones, other former players, Clark Moore, that just, hey, I'm going to meet y'all tonight. And, Nick and them took such good care of the Herman. But 1990, I met Dean Weber at a football camp, Arkansas football camp. I went for 10 straight years. And I tell people this all the time. I was talking about Darren. I was in a group text with Darren and Lindy and Coach Nutt, and Lindy put in that thing of they've honored Dean over in his old neighborhood.
Mm-hmm, they have.
And he put in a group text, and you think about all the people he impacted, and it was because he cared more about other people than he did himself. And Dean could meet you where you were at with a tremendous amount of grace. Now, if you've ever been cussed out by Dean Weber, like, you know the intensity of that, because he used to tell me all the time, hey, get out of the training room. You're not good enough to be in here. But when you walk by Matt Jones, send him in here.
That's right.
But you knew it was real, and you knew he cared about you because he could recognize. Young people can recognize counterfeit and so fast, but Dean cared about each one of us, and we all had different relationships with him. And for a year, 2 years in South Carolina, I used to fly home every Sunday to Fayetteville, leave at 5:30 in the morning, and I'd go sit in the hotel room with Dean until the last flight from Fayetteville to Charlotte would fly out at 9:30. And I did it for about 16 months when I left, of going back before we lost him. And those are some of the most special times in the world. That, outside my parents, since 1990, my oldest friend.
Well, he loved you, Dowell. He loved you. He spoke so highly of you.
It meant the world to him. Well,
yeah,
man,
the feeling was mutual.
Yeah. Well, man, we're happy for you. Proud of your success. But you're as Arkansas as it gets, as Chuck said earlier. And you guys, listen, don't get injured at any of the activities today at the FCA
don't
camp.
you be the one that tears your Achilles,
Don't get hurt
man.
chasing your boy.
Yeah.
None of that stuff.
I can't now, because back in the day I could always call Dino and say, Dean, can you call this doctor over in Asheville and get me in right now?
Right.
I don't have those luxuries anymore.
That's exactly right.
Hey, all the best to you and your family, man. We'll talk soon. Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you.
Thanks, Dowell. Dowell Loggains, one of the greatest guys you ever meet. App State head coach, longtime friend, and man, it's just fun to watch his journey and hear from him. It's just great stuff.
He mentioned this too. Let me say this real quickly about the tribute. Sweetbriar Walking Trail in Fayetteville. People know about this if you live in Fayetteville. Dean lived over off Sweetbriar, and he was the president of the POA. I mean, can you imagine Dean as the president of the PO? Mow your yard. And so
that's so good.
But they put a bench and some stuff there on the walking trail the POA has in his honor. And Lindy sent out a really nice deal on this, and it's a cool deal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.